Good morning, students. In the last class, we have completed a relation between the TP and AP and the AP and MP. So today's class, we are going to study the relation between the TP, AP and MP. TP means total product, MP means marginal product, and AP means average product. So, in this, a unit of variable factor is given. The values of TP is given per unit, MP is given per unit, and the AP also given per unit. Okay, so the units of the variable factors are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. The TP is 2 5 9 12 14 15 15 14 12. MP is 2 3 4 3 2 1 0 minus 1 minus 2. The value of the MP and AP, both value we can calculate by the TP also. So, and the AP is whenever we have to find out the value of AP, then the TP upon units, and whenever we have to calculate the value of marginal product, then TP n minus TP n minus 1, so that we can easily calculate the value of the marginal product. Okay, so let's start what is the relation between the TP, MP and AP. When TP increases at increasing rate, MP, AP also rises, but MP is greater than AP. Okay, referring to above table 5.2, 5.12 and 5.8. 5.12 and 5.8, the relation can be seen from the first unit to third unit. From the first unit to the third unit, we can see that the value of the TP is increases. TP is increases from 2 to 5 to 9. MP and AP also increases. MP is 2, 3, 4 and AP is 2, 2.5, 3. But in this case, MP would be greater than AP. Okay, in this case what will happen, that the value of MP is increasing, the rate of the MP is more than the rate of the unit of the AP. So we can see it in the diagram also, that here the TP is increasing, MP and AP is also increasing, but MP is see the curve of MP. The curve of MP is more than the curve of AP. Okay, so next is when TP just begin to rise at falling rate. MP equal to AP, here AP is maximum and constant. Referring to above table and diagram, this relation can be seen at the fourth unit of variable factor employed. Okay, whenever we go to the fourth unit of variable factor, we see that when the TP is just begin to rise, TP started to begin to rise, here the value of the MP equal to AP. Here you see MP equal to AP, that is equal to 3. In this case, AP is maximum and constant. Okay, the value of AP will be the maximum at this point and constant also after that it will start to declining. Okay, so you can also see it into the diagram also. A TP is increasing and the MP and AP curve cut at the point this, here MP equal to AP, which equal to 3. Okay, so when TP just begin to rise at falling rate, the rate is falling. Okay, so that MP equal to AP, and here AP is maximum and constant. Next is when TP increases at decreasing rate, MP and AP fall, here AP is more than the MP is less than the AP. Okay, when referring to table 5.12 and figure 5.8, this relation can be seen from the third unit to sixth unit variable factor employed. Okay, from third to sixth unit. Okay, what we see that the TP is increasing. TP is increasing, but the rate of increasing the increasing the TP is diminishing rate. Means TP increase तो कर रहा है, बट जो रेट क्या है वो उसका डिमिनिशिंग रेट है. मीन्स इंक्रीज होने पे भी वो उसका जो रेट है वो डिक्लाइन होता चला जा रहा है. इन दैट कंडीशन क्या होगा, AP and MP will fall. यहाँ पे देखिए the MP is falling from 4, 3, 2, 1 and AP is also falling 3, 3, 2.8, 2.5. It starts to falling, both are start to falling, but TP is increasing at diminishing rate. Okay, next is when TP maximum and constant, MP is 0, AP falls. Okay, here we see that at the 6th and 7th unit we see that the TP is maximum. TP is maximum and constant. It is 15 and constant. MP starts to fall. MP become falling and become 0. Okay, become 0, and AP also falling. But here AP is, because AP is more than the MP. Why? Because here AP is 2.1. It is greater than the 0. That is MP. So in this case, when the TP is maximum and constant, MP will be 0 and AP falls, which means AP is greater than MP or MP is less than AP. Next is when TP decreases, MP becomes negative, AP falls. Okay, when TP start to decline, previous condition we were not seen in the table diagram, so you can also see that when TP is maximum, okay, so MP will become the 0 and AP is falling. Okay, and the last condition is when TP decreases, MP becomes negative and AP falls. When TP decreases, TP decreases from the 8th to 9th unit, from 14th to 12th, MP becomes negative, -1 and -2, and here AP also declining, but AP is greater than MP or MP is less than AP. So last condition is what? When TP starts to decline, MP becomes negative and AP falls, but AP is greater than MP. See into the diagram that after the maximum and constant this point, TP starts to declining and MP becomes negative and AP falls. Okay, but AP would be greater than the MP. Okay, it's all about the relation between the TP, MP and AP. Once again we can study that when TP increases at increasing rate, MP and AP also rises, but MP would be more than the AP. Next is when TP just begin to rise at falling rate, then MP equal to AP, and here AP is maximum and constant. Next is when TP increases at decreasing rate, MP and AP fall. Here AP is greater than MP. Next is when TP becomes maximum and constant, MP will be 0 and AP will be fall. Here AP is greater than the MP. When TP decreases, okay, when TP starts to decline, MP become negative and AP fall, but here MP is less than AP. So it's all about the relation between the total product, marginal product and the average product. Initially TP increases at increasing rate, it start to rises at the falling rate, and then it increases with the diminishing rate. It becomes maximum and constant. After that it starts to decline. Here MP is more than the AP, and then MP equal to AP. After that MP declining becomes to 0, and after and last it becomes negative. In the for the case of AP is rises, but it is less than the MP. And the second condition, MP equal to AP. After that AP will be always be falling, but it never ever be become negative and the 0. AP will always be positive and MP become positive and then 0, and after that it becomes negative. Okay, so it is the relation between the TP, AP and MP. So law of variable proportion we have studied in the case of the short run return to a factor, in which MP of a factor is initially rises at the employment level. After reaching the certain level of employment it starts to declining. Okay, so the next topic of your chapter 5th production function is the law under returns to scale. The return to scale is applicable in the case of long run. Okay, and whatever the topic we have studied, a return to a factor, which applicable in the case of short run. Okay, so let's start. What is the law under returns to scale? The concept of return to scale is related to the fixed proportion production function, in which all the factors are used in definite fixed proportion. To increase the level of production, one has to increase the quantity of all input by the same percentage. In the long run, all the factors become variable. Here a firm changes its scale of production by changing quantity of fixed and variable factors in some proportion. The law return to scale are IRS, CRS and TRS. IRS means increasing return to scale, constant return to scale and diminishing return to scale. Okay, so what we have studied, that the concept of the return to scale is related to the fixed proportion production function, in which all the factors whatever we have taken, they all are in the proportion of the taking the all the factor is fixed. Okay, but in the case of law of return to factor, the proportion of taking the factor is not fixed, it can be changed up to the producer. But in the case of return to scale, the proportion of the factors are the fixed, in which all the factors are used in definite fixed proportion. Okay, all the factor whatever the used by the producers are the definite in fixed proportion. Means जो भी फैक्टर्स ले रहा है प्रोड्यूसर कमोडिटी को प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, वो जो सारे फैक्टर्स होंगे वो क्या होंगे, एक फिक्स प्रोपोर्शन में होंगे. मीन्स एक फिक्स रेशियो में होंगे कि इतना ये फैक्टर लेना है तो इतना ये फैक्टर लेना है. ठीक. सो to increase the level of production, one has to increase the quantity of all input by the same percentage. Okay, if the producer want to increase the level of production, what he has to do, he has to also increase the level of input, but the increase of level of input should be in the same percentage, because all the factors whatever there will be factor, land, machinery, raw materials, labors, they all are increases in the same percentage. Okay, so whenever any producer want to increase the level of production, he has or she has to increase the quantity of the all input in by the same percentage. Okay, in the long run all the factors become variable. Okay, we have also studied in the difference between the return to a factor and the return to a scale. Then the return to a factor, one factor is variable and other factor we have taken as the constant. But in the case of return to scale, all the factors become variable. Okay, there is no any fixed factor whenever any producer want to increase the fixed factor like machinery or the building, they can increase, okay, because all the factors in the long run become the variable. Here a firm changes its scale of operation by changing quantity of the fixed and variable factor in the same proportion, okay. In this case, if a producer or the firm want to change its scale of operation, means doing a business, if any producer want to change their criteria or the scale for the operating a business by changing quantity of fixed and variable factor, they have to change their fixed as well as variable factor in the same proportion, okay. Whatever he has taken the any fixed factor and whatever he has taken any variable factor, it should be in the same percentage or the same proportion, fixed proportion, okay. So the law under returns to scale are IRS, CRS and the DRS, okay. The law which will studied in the case of return to scale is increasing return to scale, constant return to scale and diminishing return to scale, okay. So what is increasing return to scale, okay. Let's start first. Increasing return to scale, when all inputs are increased by the given proportion, the output increases more than proportionally. In other words, percentage increase in output is more than the percentage increase in all factor inputs, okay. It is simple, which means the producer, if producer increase the input for producing more, the output of producing is more than the how much producer is giving the input. Means कि अगर कोई producer अपने inputs को increase कर रहा है to produce the more and more commodity, तो जो output produce होगा it will be more than the use of the different inputs, okay. वो जितने inputs को लगाया है उससे ज़्यादा उसका output produce होगा. But when all the inputs are increased by the given proportion, the inputs, all the fixed factor and the variable factor will be increased in the same percentage, the output increases more than the proportionately. Means the output by uh, acquiring the different inputs, the output will be more than the proportion of the fixed and the variable factor. In other words, percentage increase in output is more than the percentage increase in inputs, okay. Whatever percentage increase in output would be more than the percentage increase in the input. Whatever he or she acquire any kind of fixed factor and the variable factor, the productivity or the output would be more than the any kind of the input which is fixed or the variable, okay. For example, if all factor inputs increase by the 100%, then output increase by the 150%. If any producer or the firm hire or acquire input increase in input by the 100%, okay, उसने कुछ inputs लगाया है, उसमें increase कितना किया है, 100% increase किया है. So उस 100% increase होने के input होने की वजह से, increased input होने की वजह से उसका 150% क्या हो रहा है, output increase हो रहा है, ठीक. So you have taken the one table, unit of labor, that is 1 and 2. It will be variable factor, okay, and land is the fixed factor, okay. When he has taken the 1 unit of labor, the unit of land is 2. So the increase in the land and labor, in the first case there will be nothing. Total product is increased by the 100%, okay. Total product is increased by the 100 and increase in TP is nothing. But in the case of when he has hired the 2 unit of labor, then if see the ratio between both of them, if 1 unit of labor and 2 unit of land, in the next 2:4, it will also equal to 1:2. So the ratio of taking the factor is always in the fixed proportion. So increase in land and labor is increased by the 100% because factor input is increased by the 100%. TP is increased by the 250 because there is increase in the 150. क्यों? अब टोटल प्रोडक्ट पहले फर्स्ट यूनिट पे कितना इंक्रीज हुआ? 100 इंक्रीज हुआ, बट अब क्या है अब टोटल आउटपुट कितना हो गया? 250 बिकॉज जब उसने न्यू और एक्स्ट्रा परसेंटेज में लगाया वेरिएबल फैक्टर और द फिक्स फैक्टर, सो देयर विल बी इंक्रीज इन द आउटपुट ऑफ द 150%. सो 150% इंक्रीज होने से टोटल प्रोडक्ट बिकम्स 250 बिकॉज in the first unit of labor and the second unit of land he has produced 100 unit, but if he or she acquiring more inputs, so he or she produce 150 output, so when the sum of 100 and 150 it becomes 250. So when the first unit of labor and second unit of land, there will be total product is 100, but when he or she at any firm hire the 2 unit of labor, when a firm increase the unit of labor and the unit of land, first there is land and labor is increases up to 100%, but now total product is increased up to 250% because there is increase in the total product by the 150, so it becomes 150% plus 100, it becomes 250, which is this number. Okay, this law applies because of the application of the economies of scale, as these reduce the unit cost of the production. Economies of scale are the advantages that accrue to a firm from scale of production. First of all, you know what is economies of scale. Okay, economies of scale basically refers to the benefit enjoyed by the firm on expanding its scale of operation. Okay, it is simply a benefit which is enjoyed by the any producer by expanding its scale of operation. कि कोई बिजनेस मैन है, अपने बिजनेस को एक्सपैंड कर दिया, तो जो उसको बेनिफिट मिल रहा है उससे एक्सपैंड करने से बिजनेस, तो जो बेनिफिट वो गेन कर रहा है दैट इज़ कॉल्ड इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल. ओके, सिंपल, द बेनिफिट which any producer or the firm is enjoying by expanding their scale of operation, it is called the economies of scale. So study this law applies because of the application of the economies of scale, because here any producer or the firm want to expand their business so that they hire more input to producing the more output, as these reduce the unit cost of the production. Okay, if the any firm or the producer invest their more money so that they can invest their more input so that they can earn more and more output, so it will also lead to the reduce the unit cost of production, because now the producer produces the more unit of the commodity of the output. So economies of scale are the advantages that accrue to a firm to increase scale of operation. Okay, economies of scale simply means it is taken by the any firm or the producer to increase their scale of operation. Okay, to expand their business. Scale of operation simply means the operation which he or she is done in the process of production for expanding their business. Okay, through the economies of the scale, through the benefit for the expanding their business. So it is also in the case of the increasing return to scale, because when any producer or the firm hire the some unit or increase the some inputs so that the output is more than the input, it is called the increasing return to scale. Okay, now the what is economies of scale? First understand what is it. It refers to the benefit enjoyed by the firm on expanding its scale of operation. As we already studied it, it is simply a benefit which is attained by any producer by expanding its scale of operation. Okay, so it is called economies of scale. It is of two types. Okay, it is simply two type of first one is internal economies, or second one is external economies. Okay, so what is internal economies or the firm specific economies? These benefits accrue to that particular firm only which expand its scale of operation. For example, technical economies obtained by the bringing modern and better machines and equipment. Labor economics obtained through the division of labor and specialization. Third one is managerial economies obtained through better administration by dividing work into department. Okay. Internal economies or this firm specific economies refers to these benefit which is accrue to that particular firm only which the scale of operation is which expand its scale of operation. Okay, it is benefit which is basically on the that one where the scale of operation is done or happens. Simply means ये इंटरनल इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल का मतलब यही कि वो बेनिफिट वहीं मिलेगा जहाँ पे स्केल ऑपरेशन इसके को एक्सपैंड किया गया है. दैट इट डजेंट मीन कि अगर उसने लेबर को किया है तो कहीं और मैनेजमेंट में होगा. नहीं, जहाँ पे बेनिफिट दिया गया है उसका रिजल्ट स्केल ऑफ ऑपरेशन का एक्सपैंडेड फॉर्म हमें उसी एरिया और उसी रीजन में उसी डिपार्टमेंट में दिखेगा, नॉट इन अदर डिपार्टमेंट. ओके, for example, there is technical economics obtained by the bringing modern and better machines and equipment. Okay, there is technical economies. That means there is technical advantages as well as benefits is obtained by the bringing modern and better machine and equipment. When when the producer bring modern and the better machine and equipment, in that condition technical economies means technical benefits are given or the attained or the profit by the any producer. For next is when the labor economics, when the labor benefits obtained through the division of labor and specialization. When there is division of the labor as well as there is ultimately they have authorized by the other person as well as there is also some specialization of that labors. Ultimately there is also benefits and the advantages in occurs in the labor economies also. Okay, कि वो क्या होगा, उनका एक डिवीजन ऑफ वर्क का भी जो डिफरेंट लेबर्स हैं उनका लेबर को भी डिवीजन करके उनमें स्पेशलाइजेशन करके क्या करेंगे, इससे क्या होगा अल्टीमेटली लेबर में भी बेनिफिट्स होगा एंड इट ultimately increase the economies of the scale, the benefit of the scale by expanding its scale of operation. Okay, next is managerial economies obtained through better administration by dividing work into department. That means managerial through management benefit will always be there when there is better administration and when the work is divided into the different department. There is different department for the different work, so that there is also managerial and management related benefit will be there for the expanding their scale of operation. Okay, now the next one is external economies or the industry specific economies. These economies are available to all the firm in industry when the scale of operation or industries expand. Okay, internal economies are especially related to the there when the scale of operation is expanded, but external are available to all the firm. Okay, it is not in any particular area or the particular region. It is development or the economy is found in the all over the firm. For example, economies of the information obtained through the information all the firm receive from one, some trade journal related to new market, source of the raw material and government policy, etc. Okay, when there is benefits from the information, it will come to the information of all firms. All firm receive the sum trade journal. ओके, अब इंफॉर्मेशन में डेवलपमेंट, इंफॉर्मेशन से बेनिफिट होने से इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट द ऑल फॉर्म हमें रिसीव होने लगी. फॉर दैट देयर इज ऑल्सो information related to the new market, what are the different sources of the raw material and the government policies. Next is economies of concentration obtained through benefits like availability of raw material, transport, communication, financial assistance, etc. at one place. Okay, when there is economies benefit is found, the concentration of the different work or the different department, there is also a availability of the raw material, transport services, communication services, financial services at one place. Okay, all these different kind of facilities are available at one place. Next is economies of disintegration obtained through the firm deciding to divide and subdivide the process of production among the themselves as per their specialization. Okay, disintegrate means dividing the all the works and the functions of the other department. So if there is a benefit is getting from the dividing the all the works and the factors and the department, so there is also a deciding the firm decide to divide and subdivide the process of the production. Okay, what will be the process of production? When there will be manufacturing, sales, promotion, advertisement, human resources development, or all the works and the department are subdivided so that all are they do properly their work, as well as they can also uh, provide the benefits which is disintegrated or related. Means we have divided all type of information, as well as we have all divided the different parts of the subdivided the different work of the department and production among them as per their specialization, according to their specialization. If any individual or the group of the individual are specialized in the marketing, so there will be one department of the marketing. If any individual or the group of individual is specialized in the HRD department, human resources department, so there will be a a department or the subdivision of the any kind of department or the group of department. So there will also different kind of department as well as disintegration of the people, and they are divided and subdivided into groups, and they can do their work effectively as well as efficiently. Okay, so it's all about the today's class. We will continue further in the next class.